Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all to our YouTube class on the topic Law and AI. In this dynamic digital era, the intersection of law and artificial intelligence has become a crucial frontier that demands exploration. Today, we will go on a captivating journey through the realms where legal principles meet cutting edge technology and explore the complex landscape of law and AI as we delve into the legal implications, challenges, and opportunities posed by rapid advancement of artificial intelligence. To this end, we are honored to be hosting Ms. Arpita K. Bhatt, a founder and lawyer with over a decade of experience in IP, media, and entertainment law, along with technology laws. Ms. Bhatt is passionate about legal nuances in advisory and hence has formed basic law understanding in you. She also serves as the legal counsel at Viacom 18 Media Private Limited and is a skilled professional with over 7 educational qualifications to her credit. I'm certain that her expertise today will add valuable contributions to our legal know-how. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, ma'am, and I look forward to an interesting and enlightening session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Kashish. Just to add to that, and for the viewers, I am also an alumni of LawSikho, and my association with them goes back to almost a decade, ever since I gave my bar exam. And that time it was known as I Pleaders. And I'm very happy and delighted to be here to give back to this association in my own little way.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I'll so I can put up the slides if you would like that.
Yes.
There are.
All right. So, thank you everyone, firstly, for joining today, and a very interesting topic, and also a topic to ponder upon: AI and law. So, artificial intelligence, suddenly the word was doing round around the lockdown phase, but it gained a lot of momentum in 2023. And right, towards the end of 2023, we have quite a lot of hustle and quite a lot of movement going around, not just artificial intelligence, but also the legal and regulatory landscape, not only in India, but around the world. For today's presentation, we will be concentrating on understanding artificial intelligence implication for law and policy. I have tried to make it as interesting as possible. If at all you have any questions, we'll be taking it towards the end. However, if you feel that there are need for me to stop and answer it then and there, then probably you can, since it's YouTube live, you can put it down on the YouTube comment section, or you can reach out to Kashish for that. So let's begin, guys. The broad scope of what we are going to cover today is what is AI, that's artificial intelligence. While we know things going around, and we know practically if there is a software or something as to what is AI, but what does it actually mean? And what does AI learn? Does AI really learn? Okay. What does it speak? Okay, AI speaks also. And what is the problem with this AI? Okay, this all new product AI, there's some problem. And of course, the legal landscape around it. What is AI? Okay, artificial intelligence. It is basically, what you try to do is you're trying to create an external intelligence that can replicate human intelligence. The idea is to give an output, to give a kind of interaction to human intelligence and to aid human intelligence, whereby certain task like monotonous task, or maybe a little bit of intellectual task as of now, can be processed by this giant known as AI. AI systems can actually analyze data, one can learn from it, one can make decisions or perform actions based on that data. While it may be new to maybe millennials, I am sure AI is something which Gen Z in specific is well equipped with, as to how to deal and how to use it to their aid. A lot of students of late they have been relying on AI softwares, and they have been using it for their research purpose, for their assignment purpose, whether all of this can be done, whether the data that is generated, the output that is made, is accurate or not, and how can you really use it to your aid without misusing the same. That's what we will look into today. How does AI learn? All right. There are two ways in which one can make AI. When I say how does AI learn, it's machine learning and deep learning. Too many jargons. I'm sure people from the relevant software background can understand it, but for lawyers and legal people, machine learning is learning from data without explicit programming. That is, you don't really, do any kind of deep programming out there. And deep learning, it's subsumed under the machine learning, wherein using the AI, artificial neural networks, you basically create a language so that the data can be processed in a particular way. So these are then just two words which one needs to understand, not delving deeper out here. What does AI speak? Okay, does AI speak? Yeah. So large language model, that is a model on which AI, specifically the next one, that is generative AI, is based. LLM, it's a network that learns to write and communicate with humans, and usually your bots. I'm sure you must have used maybe your vehicles and your apps for booking cabs, and you have certain complaint grievances, and there's a backend support which speaks to you, and it speaks to you as good as a human being is speaking. All of this is developed using large language model. Generative AI is used to create things. So while like 90% of the bots, they usually work on LLM model, generative AI is a little step beyond that. It doesn't just address the pre-fed information that, oh, do you have grievance pertaining to your fees, do you have grievance pertaining to maybe the way the driver was, or do you have grievance pertaining to, let's say if it's a food app, do you have grievance pertaining to the order that is delivered, the delivery guy. So those are only specific questions that it is capable to address, whereas the generative AI model is much beyond that. It is as good as chatting to your friend, or maybe having a kind of and a friend or a person who can make things easier for you. So generative AI, have we really used generative AI? Okay. Yes, if one actually looks into it, there is a use of generative AI. So I had actually put in two uh, videos. I'm not sure, Kashish, will we be able to play these videos? There was a play button to it, so I'm not too sure whether we can or we cannot. Mm. Kashish, can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure whether she's there or not, but there were two particularly videos that were made by me, and that was in order to understand how does this entire AI dynamics work. And I'll see if I can still play those videos separately for you guys. Very easy to understand, but I thought that it's important for us to actually see how does it turn around. By the time it gets uploaded, probably we'll come back to it. So chat gpt, if you would have used chat gpt, you usually prompt the app. Basically, always assure that you're very respectful to the AI as well. We don't know what the future is going to entail, whether that AI is just going to be in the form of the small little software, or it's going to be something bigger than that. So you respectfully ask that, hey, good morning, and whatever, good afternoon, and I need your help. And it also replies that, okay, fine, I'm here to help you. What do you want me to do for you? Just like a genie coming out of its lamp. And then you definitely ask that you want, let's say, you can ask that, I want you to create an image for us. And the question will be that, okay, fine, if you want me to create an image, what is it that you want to input, right? So I might say that, okay, can you please create an image for me with a flow chart? And since it's a free and open source, the immediate prompt that you get from chat gpt is, I'm sorry, I am not trained to provide an image based on text. Why is it so? Because the generative form of AI, that is chat gpt, also has something known as dull e. Now that is a paid version wherein you pay and you actually put in text and it generates images. So That's very interesting, right? Another thing you can see is a competitor, maybe Google Bard. Okay, on Google Bard, if you really go and ask that, can you create an output very similar to XYZ created by Chat GPT, and you put such kind of prompts, the reply that you get out there is, sorry, I'm not trained to use outputs by my competitors. So that's the way they are currently training their own AIs. Google has also come up with Gemini. Okay, it's said to be a little upgraded and also the paid version of what Bard is. Bard is free for us, just the way Google is. But Gemini is something which will be interesting to explore. Apart from that, X, that is Twitter, is also coming up with its own, AI driven, GPT driven model. So those all things will be very interesting to see as to how does it turn out. All right. AI landscape. Currently, the landscape of different forms of AI that one can see is narrow AI. All right. Narrow AI is basically focused on specific tasks, like let's say you want somebody to play chess with you, or maybe recognizing, a kind of hypothetical AI with that human level intelligence. That is usually your general AI. That is your GPT models. They are based on that. Artificial super intelligence. Now, it is a theoretical future as of now. We don't know whether something like this is already existing. Probably it is in some parts of the world, wherein human capabilities will be replicated. And while as interesting as it may sound, it may also pose danger because it is a territory of unknown. So these are the broad AI landscape as of now. While we see these landscapes are generally from the training or maybe the software making or the system making perspective, if you see from legal angle, the AIs are divided risk based. All right. So it's not usually that you will say from a legal perspective or from a legislation perspective, you'll divide them into these categories, but you'll divide them as to high risk. Okay. Like the most highest risk can be artificial super intelligence kind of AI. Then there will be some moderate to high risk in form of general AI that is currently existing. Probably narrow AI would be the minimum risk AI that one has. And did this AI come into existence just now? Actually, it did not. We have been using different forms of AI since quite some time. Um, for example, if lawyers use, Microsoft Word, or maybe we use Google Documents, there is an auto-generated language. Even in your phones, if you type, it predicts what you want to type next, and it provides you with that information. How is all of this done? It is basically done by tracing and scraping the data that you're already feeding in, and then providing the same to you at the time it may come to your interest, or it may come to your avail. So it did exist, but the form and the nature in which it is growing right now is different. How can AI help lawyers, right? It was interesting while I was making this presentation. It's the first time when I wanted to really check, to be honest, as to whether AI can help us individuals. If you go and prompt chat GPT that, hey, listen, I want a presentation and I want you to make so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so details, it will not make you presentation. It might just help you with the pointers that, hey, listen, you can do this, you can do that. This entire presentation is not made by AI. It is made by my own intelligence, guys. However, when you see how can a GPT model help lawyers, it can help in two very important and very reliable ways. Probably legal research. Okay, you can definitely feed in prompts. And ask for a legal research output. Whether you can completely rely on that or not is a question that you have to ask yourself. Of course, there have been times wherein people have time and again said that the maybe the cases that are generated were fake. Okay, maybe the output that was given by these kind of GPT model was absolutely sham. So have to be vigilant, but at the same time, the kind of data that they rely on, it's basically internet. So initially we were aware that GPT-4 that's now in existence, but maybe a chat GPT-2 or a version before that, when it was open for everyone for the first time, they had limited amount of data that they can scrape through the internet. And if you would have asked a prompt like, can you please find a case of 2015 or maybe 2016, it would immediately reply you back saying, sorry, I don't have access to any kind of data that is prior to maybe 2018 or 19. So those things one have to keep in mind. Second is contract review. As a contract drafting lawyer, this particular aspect was very interesting to understand. AI tools, they definitely have potential legal risk. So if you go and if you try maybe a Google Bard and just say that draft a contract for me with so and so terms, it will definitely draft it. But whether it will be compliant with Indian laws or not is, or maybe a law of a specific territory, is again a question that is not yet answered by such kind of models. But interesting aspect is, if you use LinkedIn, okay, and LinkedIn is currently doing this. Fortunately, I was one of the users to whom they had asked that, okay, fine, you have an expertise in XYZ area, so why don't you reply to particular questions? And the questions like that, what if you are dealing with a vendor and you have to frame a termination to the contract, and you there's a deadlock situation, what is it that you will do for that? Maybe solution oriented. Then they used to give 4 5 answers. Once you click on those answers, they ask you to actually provide your inputs in as detailed form as possible. And once any user does that, probably a lawyer or not, after you submit it, there is a pop-up that comes that this is used for, this entire survey is being conducted using AI, and the reply that is being submitted is going to be used in order to modify that particular AI tool. So there is lot of work that is going around in terms of AI and contract drafting. But as of now, there are just add-ons that are available, which are again reliable. Big law firms are using them. They are maybe document review kind of AI add-ons, wherein it can format your entire document. It can check cross-referencing for you. It can even highlight that, hey, listen, in the contract you have used a particular terminology which is capitalized but not defined. So what do you do about that? Maybe something that is missed out of human eye is being highlighted by such kind of AI add-ons. But the efficiency, since everything is currently at the development stage and everybody is trying to make these add-ons as well as these portals as efficient as possible with the help of human interaction, with the help of human feedback. Hence you cannot completely rely on it as of now. But there won't the day is not too away wherein there'll be a lot of mundane tasks that will be performed by AI. And one will have to then definitely question as to how much of the professional stakes will be taken away from you when the AI comes into picture. So there'll be replacement, and there'll be an aid. So whether AI will be an aid to you or an replacement is something which only time can tell. Risk assessment and prediction, right? When it comes to AI, so AI can help analyze data, and it can give you a summarized outcome and help in identifying potential risk. So from those perspective, it can act like your junior. Okay, it can be of help, but at the same time you will have to use your own expertise and professionalism. As of now, as of today, even you're relying on AI. Yes, the word that gained the most momentum, and unfortunately the act that has uh, provided n number of footprints on website is deepfake. um, we saw, especially in past few months, before any kind of movie release, or before any kind of campaign, political campaign, there were a lot of deep fakes that has done around. uh, Few of them were, I mean, Rashmika's deep fake, which was terrible to even think of that an actress can be mimicked in such a way. Then you have deep fake that was done for most of the actresses. It was done, I believe Katrina Kaif, Alia Bhatt, they all have been victims. Interesting one here is, not the right one, but interesting one is, there was an entire commercial kind of campaign created with Priyanka Chopra's voice and the image and everything that did rounds, and she never, happened to shoot the same. So it did create an entire commercial without her actual physical presence. If one has to see that, if deepfakes, as in creating or mimicking a human in a wrong way, is definitely hampering their rights. But on the flip side, if one can even understand that they can mimic an entire human being, they can create a commercial without the presence of a particular actor or a celeb. So there might be times wherein it can be an ally to them. It can actually uh, help them generate more revenues. Of course, different laws will be on stake at that point in time. Yes, I don't know whether you guys would have watched this. There's a particular, if not, then you should go on, internet and watch it. There was a deepfake created out of Mr. Obama's speech. So here it was Mr. Barack Obama's actual speech, okay, and his lip sync was made in such a way that the words came out. You can't really recognize that. Oh God, this is a deepfake. You actually think that, oh, it's a video that has been originally made by Mr. Obama. In similar fashion, they have made a number of videos. Most of the politicians were target. Most of the political leads were target, wherein their entire speech was as good as dubbed. Okay, and the voice that is being generated is also generated using AI, and it's absolutely and starkingly similar to what they speak. Until and unless you pay a closer attention, you cannot differentiate between a deep fake and an original audio or a video. Hey, so dal e, which we were just discussing a few minutes back, which is a chat gpt extended new feature. Here text can create images, right? So on dull e there was a prompt. Okay, prompt, often now and then I keep using, most of you must be aware, prompt is nothing but a kind of instruction that you give in order to get a desired result. So if somebody gives an instruction to dali that I want an image to be created wherein I want the background with a blue sky and some kind of trees around, and also city with houses, and I want a central character with his wife, and a girl maybe standing behind. So this is the kind of painting that it created by inserting a prompt, that is by inputting data. uh, of course a beautiful feature, but then the question arises that when it comes to painting and artwork, there is copyright involved around the world. There is intellectual property rights involved. So what happens to those kind of rights in that case? That was painting. Another aspect, AI sings. Okay, if you actually go and try and search, you'll understand. If you just put a prompt that I want to, maybe there are currently the sources out there, the outputs out there. Maybe right now it will not give you the reply to the prompt because it created a lot of noise. In the industry. So they can create a song, maybe Pyar Hua Ikrar Hua, with Arijit Singh's voice in it. Now that song is so famous, and it has a beautiful recollection value, but imagine a current singer's voice being put over there. Or maybe you can just think, what if they create songs using the voice of our own Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, and that's the song that they play, and an entire song is being played. What happens then? So it is ideally going to the internet and using your own personality features and giving an output to you, which you might be surprised to see. So these things are very easy to create, and anyone can create as of now. And hence, it is even more alarming as to what kind of rights are they infringing, what are the laws that are currently existing, and they are not being followed. Yes, coming back to the deep fakes. So deep fakes issues, if we can, sum it out, it's just that it creates realistic videos and there are audio forgeries. Okay, and potential disinformation or fraud or manipulation can be done. Imagine a celebrity not supporting a particular endorsement brands. Okay, celebs are very particular about the kind of endorsement that they do, because they have a number of contracts with a number of brands. If somebody has a contract with you know uh, deo brand, right? Let's say somebody has a contract with one deodorant brand, and the same voice and commercial is used of that particular actor. The one I can think is Ranveer Singh, and maybe he is being portrayed in that video as promoting the competitive brand. Now that will affect his contract arrangement, his exclusivity arrangement, to a very deeper level, and it may amount to breach. But then who is the one who has to be blamed for this? Who created the commercial? And also, whom does the onus lie on? Is it the onus on the person who happened to input the data? Is it the onus on the GP model that is retrieving the information and giving such kind of output? Or is the onus to be shifted ultimately on the person who is circulating this kind of output, right? So these are few of the questions that should come in mind when it comes to deep fake issues. And again, legal challenges in identifying and addressing. If somebody would have, I mean, time and again, I am trying to give that example because it was very much shocking. If you see these actress celebs deep fakes, one cannot easily understand whether it was a deep fake or whether it was an original video that was created. So again, identification becomes an issue. Okay. Yeah, so that was a major background of what is happening right now with AI. How is it being utilized? How is it being misutilized? Um, and what can we do when it comes to the legal landscape? So much noise is already happening in artificial intelligence space. What is happening in the legal landscape when it comes to AI? What are the current laws that are getting impacted, right? Intellectual property rights, definitely yes. Copyright law, we saw the example of AI sings, we saw the example of AI paints, right? We all know that copyright law currently, it has authorship and ownership, and it's usually a person or an that person, of course, includes companies as well. But then in that case, when it comes to such kind of AI model, such kind of software model, uh, the interesting question that one would have to ask is who will be the author in such kind of cases, right? Personality rights. Deepfakes created, there has to be a defamation. There was definitely a personality right that was infringed. No one out there has given their own permission, to use such kind of deepfakes. One cannot come to a defense that because you're a public figure, your information is out there in public and it is being used. It cannot be used to the detriment of an individual. Personal data. Fortunately, now in India, we have a personal data law. August 2023 was the fortunate time wherein the legislation got enacted. However, the rules are being awaited. But definitely, there was breach of data privacy and safety, right? You're using somebody's pictures, you're using somebody's voice, wherein they are not even aware that something like this can be used to, uh, you know, against them, right? So personal data is getting impacted. There is IT Act and IT rules, right? There's sensitive personal data. There are rules surrounding the social media intermediaries. Most often than not, such kind of deepfakes are being circulated on the social media. They are circulated on the user generated content portals as well. So the trickle effect goes definitely to the IT Act. Right to be forgotten. What today, if we go and we Google about a deep fake of any of the actors, there are still images that are being shown. If we know that it is not right, despite of knowing that it was not original, it was a deep fake that was created. Interesting part will be, has anyone until now exercised the right to be forgotten? Have they really asked all their videos or all their images to be removed out there from the internet, and whether that can be done or not? Or are there bots that will keep multiplying it? The problem with AI is there are a lot of bots that keep getting created. Interesting example to quote here is, most often than not, when it comes to social media and when it comes to public figure, they have n number of followers, right? Sometimes it runs into millions and billions. While not everybody would be doing this, if you hire a particular kind of agency to help you get broader reach or more followers, there are bots also created wherein they are not real individuals. They might zero post, there'll be just a username that is created, and they will start following you. Now, while these bots are used to your to create your brand to create your followers, okay, and increase the worth of an individual who is a public figure. But the flip side to this is the same bots can also be used against you. You never know, the same bots were actually used to create those deep fakes that are circulating around. So that's the last aspect I feel of the current laws that should apply out here. Taking maybe few of them in detail now. Right. Copyright and outputs. Okay. Generative AI, Chat GPT, Google Bard. Okay. Whenever I use generative AI, these are the examples that you should get in your mind. These questions are not supposedly, targeting to them, but these are the examples that can help you relate. Generative AI is posing, a question to all its users and everyone in general, whether copyright subsists in output provided by these AI tools. So prompt and input that you provide maybe, it can be called as an idea expression dichotomy if one tries to fit in over here. Maybe the input that a user is giving is an idea. I have an idea that I want to create a painting, but then again depends as to what all prompts are you using, and the expression final painting that is as good as a human being who has painted it coming out, right? Which is the expression, and that may be under the ambit of copyright law. Of course it is, because an expression of an idea. So what happens in that case? Output provided by these AI tools, whether copyright will subsist. If it subsists, who is the owner, who is the author of that kind of copyright, right? Will it be a GPT kind of model? Will it be the person who got it generated? Because there the defense is that, okay, I was the one who gave the input and as detailed input as possible. However, the flip side to that is, if you give the same set of instructions to a GPT model, which you should definitely try, okay, to a Google Bard or a GPT or any other AI kind of model, it will give you different output to the same very set of prompts, right? If you just flip one word or the other, the entire output also changes. So the interesting aspect is then the argument of I was the one who gave the input and the inputs mattered, and hence the output, whatever the painting or the song or the XYZ that is being created, a poem that is being created, the authorship should lie on me. Probably no. Then who should be the author? Should it be these software companies who has actually made such kind of AI models? Probably the answer can be no out there as well, because they are scraping the information from the internet. It's just that they are doing the processing bit of it, right? And they are trying to create and give you an output which is AI driven. So whether they are the one who will be claiming the authorship or the ownership on this AI, all of this has too many elements involved. If it is for free, if it is paid, whether it is, whether they have given any kind of terms of use wherein they have taken away all the rights of whatever is being generated and given to you, correct? Because if you see your terms and conditions, and it's very important, on social media majority of the people are active, and whenever, especially not now everything has a reputation and people are becoming more vigilant. But if you see a normal layman, maybe who has nothing to do with law, and you see they getting the terms of use, the first thing they say, why do you draft so much? It's so long that I have to just scroll through and just say I agree and get into it. If you say that, there is, if you go on a social media website like an Instagram or maybe just a second, I'll switch on my battery. Just a second. Sorry. So yeah, if you go on Instagram or if you go on Facebook, and if you see the terms of use, you really sit down and see, you'll understand the kind of rights that they take away from you, right? Especially in country like India, the TOC and the terms and conditions that exist in Europe and what exists in India are starkly different. Europe had their own data privacy law, and the compliance was done for that almost 2 to 3 years now. India has just entered that domain in 2023, and still there are no rules. And hence there is still a lot of non-compliance that is being done, a lot of right that is being taken away from you. If you're making your account public, it's Instagram who is saying that I hold all the rights on whatever you're going to post here, I can use it. That's the thing. If you see Threads that was released this year somewhere in June July, there's a lot of chaos around Threads, right? People started installing, and the first thing you would have observed when you install Threads is Once you install Threads, it immediately links your Instagram account to it, and you cannot delete Threads. I mean, you cannot delete the account on Threads until and unless you delete your Instagram account. In fact, it was said that that was one of the reason why Threads was not rolled out in Europe. Okay, but it got rolled out in India, and till the time we have our rules, probably maybe the terms of use may remain the same, or they must have changed. So that is one thing one can think about. Again, coming back to copyright and output, yes. So our entire reliance was that whether such kind of AI generated output that is given, whether these software companies can say that, hey, listen, as per the terms of use, you signed this, and everything that I generate belongs to me. There's no authorship that you can have. So imagine the kind and the quantum of copyright that they will have, the kind of edge and the kind of uh, massive money making mechanism that will happen by this kind of AI. Yes. Venturing into UK, right? United Kingdom on AI. Most often than not, we always believe that the Western countries are a step ahead than what is currently happening in our own jurisdiction, because the advent and the invention of such kind of AI usually comes from the West. When it comes to United Kingdom, in around it's not actually November, it was in September 2023, that November, yeah, October, November, United Kingdom AI Safety Summit was held in Bletchley Park, Buckinghamshire. And in this particular summit, there were 28 major countries that participated, right? It included China, there was France, UK, US, Japan, India was also part to it. And here they happened to sign a declaration which was considered as a triumph, because all these 28 countries coming together with a common purpose of how to handle AI and how to treat such kind of AI companies and the revolution that's happening around in each other's territory. And the declaration was signed, was definitely a win-win situation for everyone. One thing that was recognized here was frontier AI. Okay, it is said that it's highly capable foundation of generative AI model, and it is possessed of dangerous capabilities and risk for public safety. Uh, your deepfakes probably come under the ambit of such kind of frontier AI. And the risk, basically, the idea of this declaration was to assess the risk, to see what are the opportunities and what is the way forward, and accordingly collaborate so that there is a frontier AI safety that is being followed by each and every territory, right? At the same time, there are a lot of startups in India as well as in the countries abroad that are jumping on this bandwagon of AI and creating something around it. The way we had an entire e-commerce revolution, wherein we had various kind of e-commerce companies coming up to bridge the gap. We had a Swiggy, we had a Ola, Uber, we had a Nika, we had Amazon. Of course, Amazon was the first one to give such kind of solution to the world. We can see that right now something similar is happening on the AI landscape. So the agenda for the summit was that one has to strike a balance between giving opportunity for evolution, for research, and for usage of AI to one's rescue, and to one's positive aid, and at the same time to analyze that what are the risks, what are the opportunities, how negatively can it impact, and what all these countries together can do for it, right? That was UK. European Commission, very interesting. If you would have followed recently, European Commission is almost coming out with its EU AI Act. All right, has the act been passed? The problem is around. With the news around, people feel that the AI Act has been passed. It's not yet passed. Okay, they have been framing it since 2021, which is remarkable. And the process which is followed in Europe, I thought that it's important to discuss that as well. They have a trilogue process. What happens here? Three parties involved. You have your parliament, you have your council, and you ultimately have the European Commission. Okay, so the European Commission, it will draft the proposal of the bill, right? It will send it to the parliament. The parliament will debate, and they will see what all amendments have to be done. They will try to strike a balance, and then it's adopted by the council, and council is the one who is given the role of negotiating it with the parliament, putting their points across. Ultimately, the negotiation between parliament and council can go on and on, right? It can take even 3 to 4 years for them also to reach a consensus, and finally they come up with a provisional agreement after the negotiated points are being considered, and final text of proposal is then adopted by both and ultimately by the entire country. So where has the EU AI Act reached? Well, it is said that it has reached almost in its final stage. There'll be provisional agreement that is coming into picture, and people who are apprehending about the timelines, they say that probably in another 6 months or so, the act will be enacted. What does EU AI text speak? Right, the fine print of that bill or the text is not actually out in public domain. One can try searching it. However, the interesting aspect here is European Commission has come up with a question and answer kind of arrangement just 2 days back, and they have framed as to what all are the questions around the text of the bill and what is AI and what according to them needs to be safeguarded. So it outlines definitely the EU AI text bill that is being doing rounds. It outlines the safeguard of generative AI, that is Bard and Chat GPT. It should not misuse any kind of information to the detriment of any individual. There are bans. So EU has done a bang on study and come up with a list of bans. Social scoring, that is no manipulation of identity. Here you're safeguarded when it comes to deepfakes. Emotion recognition in workplace or educational setting, yes, they are banning it. They are saying that you can't do something like that. Imagine having a kind of survey wherein your emotions are being tracked, right? That is getting and delving deep into emotional intelligence stage of an individual. Facial recognition in publicly accessible space. So example, just the last point that is stated there, facial images used on internet or on CCTV, they cannot be used to their own availment. Biometric categorization around sensitive information, that is an individual's religious views, political views, philosophical belief, although all of this is safeguarded under the EU GDPR as well, because they amount to personal data. However, they are ensuring it that such kind of data are not being used by these generative AI models, so that tomorrow they can replicate a you or me with every kind of opinion that we have, so that the people around can get fooled. So that's a very good step that is being taken. Of course, the question is whether the free and open source of AI, which is right now doing rounds, a Bard or a GPT, whether they will be under the scope of this text, may be partly outside the scope of it. There is not enough clarity on that aspect. Fines. EU is wonderful when it comes to imposing fines and maybe even putting fines out there in their bills and text, up to 35 million pounds, okay, or euros, or 7% of the global turnover of the company, which is big enough pinch for companies, will be put on them. All right. Timelines. So when it comes to the timelines of this text, the final legislation is apprehended to be out around 5 to 6 months from now. And once it becomes law in 20 days after the publication in official journal, okay, it gets applicable. And the speculative timelines that is being doing around, because the different provisions of the act will, be active in different timelines. So ban on specified AI categories, okay, that may be effective after 6 months once the final legislation is out. So if final legislation is out in 6 months, maybe 6 months after that, that's 1 year good enough timeline. Provisions on high risk and high purpose AI, right? In such kind of things, 12 months timeline when it comes to applicability and compliance, and governance confirming bodies around 12 months timeline. All of this is speculative. What will be the actual timelines? It's only the text of the bill that can help us understand. But this bill will be very important, because just like GDPR, I'm sure this bill will help lay foundation for a lot of countries, including developing nations, to frame their own AI regulation or an AI act. Where is Bharat on AI laws, guys? India, does it really want to regulate AI? Does it not want to regulate AI? That was the dilemma that was on in entire 2023, right? In September 2023, India hosted G20 summit, which we all are aware of. There is Business 20, which is a platform that brings together, business leaders and ultimately, from the G20, and they come together to develop policy recommendations. So somewhere in September 2023, another highlight of this particular G20 summit, and this document is out there in public, guys. You should read it. AI policies will have an impact on five areas. These countries decided that the five areas would be innovation, productivity, and competitiveness, right? All the AI policies needs to keep that in mind. Data governance and privacy. Okay, it goes hand in hand, data privacy as well as the AI laws. Workforce dynamics and skill development. Okay, social good, regulatory compliance and accountability, and sustainable environment and climate change. So they have understood that these will be the five parameters around which one has to frame policies. While that was G20, just now, 12th to 14th December 2023, that is day before yesterday, it got concluded. Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, that is GPAI, which has 29 member states as part to it. Of course, China is not a part to it, though UK has a 28 member state summit that happened somewhere in November. Um, this particular summit was largely led by most of the democratic nations, right? Because they had a similar value and objective when it comes to looking at AI laws. And the aim was that one has to mitigate risk, and development and deployment methods have to be adopted. They listed down the global framework for AI, which should have been safeguarding the dignity and well-being, right? Ensuring personal data protection. A little diversion from what happened in the UK summit. What happened in G20? We had the five areas, but now here global framework happened to list down that these are the important areas wherein we should have our policy around. Protection of IPR, privacy and security. Definitely, IPR is a law that is getting affected with no clarity as of now to anyone. Foster innovation. One has to remember and understand that the policies should be innovation supportive. It should be definitely making the environment for users trustworthy, responsible, sustainable with the use of AI. Imagine right now, because of the deep fakes and because of so many, even cyber frauds, when it comes to AI and placing one's reliance on what output AI is giving or what is happening around with the usage of AI, there is a lot of there is no trust amongst individuals to really lay emphasis on the outputs of AI. So Bharat is definitely one of the nations which is agreeing that probably yes, if the policy and the laws are being framed, it has to be around these 5 point framework. So was this always the approach we had? So the idea is it was no legal intervention approach that we had somewhere in February and April. From there, we changed our approach, saying that okay, fine, active regulation formation. We had a summit altogether for it. Around April 2023, the Union IT Minister, he had observed that there are definitely ethical concerns and risk, but AI is a digital innovation enabler. So that was the overview about AI. And regulations should be framed risk based, and user harm approach should be taken into consideration. However, our prime minister, while flagging off the GPAI summit, happened to state that the challenges of deep fakes, cybersecurity, data theft, AI tools in the hands of terrorists can pose a very big threat. And hence, when one can see that the positive and negatives altogether, the negative may outweigh the positive, and we may definitely have a regulation or a law around AI. There's some interesting information. There's a think tank and a legal research entity. Important to note, I'm nowhere associated with them. Indic Pacific Legal Research. They developed a reference text for AI. They have made an AI development and regulation bill. Very interesting to read. Why? Because one can see that they made a confluence of data protection law with AI, which is very much required because I personally feel that both of them will go hand in hand. There is classification of AI system as per risk. Okay, they have listed down that there'll be high risk AI, there'll be medium risk AI, there'll be low risk AI, there'll be very high risk kind of AI, which can be as good as we saw the artificial super intelligence ASI is what we call it. Um, then framing of regulatory body, they have given a nice interesting provision that there has to be an India AI regulatory council. Okay, and they that should be the body which should handle all the kind of complaints pertaining around artificial intelligence. So what about AI and judiciary, right? Are there judgments that are using AI, right? Fortunately and hopefully no. And is judiciary using AI? Yeah, two important aspect one has to see. In 2021, Supreme Court started using like the AI control tool, and it does not frame judgment with it, but it processes a lot of information, maybe highlighting the relevant cases for them and providing decisions. Um, there is another software known as SUAS, Supreme Court Vidik Anuvad software. It's a good software. It translates your text from English to regional and regional to English language. Again, a very nice use of AI there. Um, Case. This particular case is very important. Jaswinder Singh versus State of Punjab, wherein the presiding judge of Punjab and Haryana High Court had requested input from Chat GPT to gain perspective on bail when cruelty element is involved. It's important to note that he did not write, as in he did not ask the Chat GPT to write a judgment. It was just a perspective. And while doing that particular input and that small little exercise, he made it very clear that he's not going to rely completely on what the output is being given out here. He just wanted to see how quick and efficient probably a Chat GPT can be used in order to do the research. So this has been the status till now. When it comes to judiciary and AI, let's see around the world. USA, right? USA has Compass, which is Correctional Offender Management Filing and Alternative Solution. This basically helps while framing judgment with respect to an individual, whether they have any past kind of criminal record or there is any record which is pertinent and important from the case that is ongoing against that individual perspective. In China, the courts are using AI technology that will analyze the past cases and suggest the applicable laws and precedents. This is apparently a good use of AI, like it can be used for research purposes, which China is doing. India, okay. India currently, we are having SUAS and we are having software which helps us with translation, all those kind of things. When it comes to law, there is no such law. Okay, no one has taken cognizance as well, neither judiciary on their own. But there's NITI, yeah, which will look after the policy and legal framework. And the only current question that everybody is dealing with is if you're using AI in the legal landscape, the breach of confidentiality poses a very important and deep question to be answered. One has to remember that the confidentiality is not breached, especially when it comes to contracts, whether you can use AI to scan down, list down, maybe summarize the contract and have important parameters being fed in. If yes, if no, of course a lot of companies have RMS system, which is somewhere a software that is being developed specifically to understand a contract and summarize it. But the level of safety measures that are taken by these organizations are very high. Of course, almost 99% assurance is taken that there is no breach of confidentiality that happens or occurs. Yeah. So that was majorly the AI landscape, the AI laws and rules that are revolving around. And now I'd like Kashish, I mean, if you have any of the students who have put in questions or there is anything that I can answer or anyone who wants to unmute themselves and speak, let me know.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As you mentioned, we can just open the floor for questions now. So if anybody has any questions, you can just put them in the comments. If you don't mind, can we wait like about a minute to see it?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Okay, there are comments.
Ma'am, I don't think there are any questions for now.
No
So,
problem. Um, just that I mean, IPR has its confluence. I'm just adding here to whatever I said with technology always, and artificial intelligence is a very good area which all of us should be keeping ourselves updated with. Lot of noise will happen when it comes to the policy framework. I believe after the elections that are going to happen next year, there'll be movement that will happen on artificial intelligence regulations or a policy or a law. In 5 to 6 months, we'll definitely have a final text of EU AI, and that should be studied by most of us who are interested in artificial intelligence, or just interested in knowing how it will frame our lives, okay, or how it will safeguard our lives. Right now, the kind of question and answer that EU has come up with, even that is very interesting to read. So if the copy is available out there, if you feel that you can't get the copy, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and I will share it out with you, so that you can read it at your leisure. And also you can ask questions and probably frame as to, if there is a law in India, what all, apart from the framework and the parameters that we saw of G20 as well as SPAI, what as a lawyer, or maybe as an individual, a non-lawyer, just a user, just a layman or a citizen, you think that the law should safeguard, you think that the law should strike a balance for. So those are the things I feel after, as a takeaway from this session. My entire perspective for this session and the aim for the session is to make you all start thinking about AI. It should not happen that too late in the day as a lawyer that we get to know that, hey, AI is happening, but I don't know what's happening around the world when it comes to artificial intelligence. Now at least you have a macroscopic view of what is happening, and you can definitely look into the relevant legislation of your choice and see where are we when it comes to l- regulatory and policy framework.
thank you so much, ma'am. That was extremely enlightening. Uh, just before we end, I would really like to express my gratitude and just express gratitude from the side of the LawSikho team and all of our viewers for taking your time out and contributing to this project. It really means a lot. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you, Kashish, for calling me. And it's always a pleasure to come back to LawSikho. And also, somewhere the aim is quite similar. While I have the aim of imbibing the basic law in most of the masses and citizens and lawyers, you're also doing a fantastic job of acting as a platform that bridges the gap between, the theoretical knowledge of some of the law schools and the practical. The profession out there which is lying for them. So great job, and I'm very happy. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll just send.